So how did you get into storytelling?
Well, it started out with a dulcimer class that Mike Anderson taught. And I had known Mike for many years. We kind of lost track. And I took this course or this class, and I asked him if he was still doing the Clayville Festival. It was a little out of date. He said, "Oh, no, 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 I'm running this storytelling festival. I really think you ought to come. I think you'd really like it." And so that summer, I decided to buy a tent and camp because my son was 12, I think, and we thought he's not going to want to hang out with mom a lot more. So let's just have one big
Right.
hoorah. And so we went, and we really liked it. And so I started going back to it was at Lincoln's New Salem every year. And I started out as a fan, and then I also noticed they were also playing folk music too. My favorite love, the first song or music I ever remember trying to play was Peter, Paul, and Mary, because I had a sister that was 8 years older, and she brought back all these records from college that, this was wonderful. But it's not a big avenue for that kind of folk music. But I noticed they were playing that. I thought, well, that's interesting. And I think I'd been going to the festival about 4 years when I thought, maybe I could try to do that. And I wrote to Dan Ketting. I'd gotten to know him and didn't get an answer. And I thought, I wonder if I didn't offend anybody, did I? Went online to see what Mike had in store for the festival that a few months later, and he had an open stage for the first time in the history of the festival. I thought, that's kind of a put your money where your mouth is moment. So I went, and I had prepared a little story behind the song piece, and I wasn't sure how I was going to do it. Ran into Dan. He said, "My computer crashed. I'm so sorry I didn't get back to you." He said, "But will you go out to dinner with us afterwards? I really want to talk to you about storytelling, and did you sign up for the open stage?" I said, "Well, I haven't." He said, "You really need to. You really need to." So I did, and I did this piece that I had prepared, and we went to dinner afterwards, and Dan said, "I think you ought to join the guild." I said, "What guild is that?" He said, "The Storytelling Guild in Urbana, Champaign-Urbana Storytellers." I said, "How do I do that?" He said, "This is Kim Sheehan. She's our president." And that gave me the place to learn how to tell a story. About 2 years later, I started telling professionally, but that is a wonderful place to kind of get your feet under you.
So there's a storytelling guild in Urbana that meets on a regular basis?
They meet the third Tuesday of every month, and the meeting changes. You can go online, just Google Champaign-Urbana Storytelling Guild, and on our website it'll pop up. I don't know the exact address, but yeah, and it's a wonderful place to learn how to tell a story, to learn how to present the story, and what stories you can and can't tell.
Right.
And it's just really very helpful.
Good. Well, do you have a story for us now? You want to do a story? Or?
This is from England. It's called The Edge of the World. There was a young man who lived in this beautiful house built of redwood, overlooking a lake in the forest, just an idyllic life. Anything he wanted, he already had, but he got to worrying that he was missing something. And he decided one day that it was his luck that he was missing. So he went to the wise woman in the village, and he said, "Tell me where I can find luck. I don't have any." She looked at him and she said, "Well, God is the only one that can tell you that." And he said, "Oh, well, where can I find God?" She said, "Keep walking east till you get to the edge of the world. God will be there." The young man thanked her, and off he went. And he walked a day and a week and a month and a year and a year and a day. And he came to this clearing where the road kind of went on either side of it. And on one side there was a pack of wolves. They had beautiful, long, lush fur, just gorgeous, and bright, shining eyes that looked pretty hungry. To the other side was one little wolf with kind of mangy hair falling out, and his eyes were dull, and he was skinny. He decided he would go that way around the clearing, and the wolf stopped him. He said, "Excuse me, where are you going?" He said, "Well, I'm going to the edge of the world to ask God why I don't have any luck." "Oh," said the wolf, "well, could you ask a question for me? Could you ask God why I'm so small and frail, and my brothers and sisters over there are so big and beautiful?" I sure will, said the young man, and he continued his journey, and he walked a day and a week and a month and a year and a day, and he came to a stand of trees. Beautiful, long-limbed, with leaves that looked like they were scraping the clouds from the sky when the wind blew. Just gorgeous, except for one. It had 3 limbs on it, fewer leaves, and it just looked pretty out of place. And as he was walking past the tree spoke to him and said, "Where are you going?" He said, "I'm going on a journey to the edge of the world to see God and ask him why I'm not having any luck." And the tree said, "Well, would you ask God a question for me?" "Well, sure," said the young man. And the tree said, "Ask him why I'm so small and all the other trees are so big and beautiful." "Sure will." And off he went, and he walked a day and a week and a month and a year and a day, and he came to this cottage surrounded by a white picket fence. The flowers in the garden were every color of the rainbow, beautiful. He knocked on the door. This gorgeous woman answers, and her face lights up in a grin. "Oh, I'm so happy to see you. Please, please come in," she said. And he came in, and she fixed him a meal like he'd never eaten before, and they talked long into the night. And he was really having a good time. And finally she asked him, "Well, what brings you here?" "Oh," he said, "I'm on a journey. I'm going to the edge of the world to see God and ask him why I have no luck." "Oh," said the woman. She said, "Well, would you ask him for me why I'm so lonely?" "I sure will," said the young man, and off he went. And he walked a day and a week and a month and a year and a day. And there he was at the edge of the world. And on a silver white cloud off in the distance, he saw God. And he said, "God, oh, God, I need to ask you a question." The cloud came closer. God said, "Ask." He said, "Why don't I have any luck?" God looked back at him. Looked at him for a long time, and he said, "Because you're stupid." "What?" "I have given you luck in abundance. It's everywhere around you, but you don't see it." Well, how do I find it?" said the young man. He said, "Open your eyes." Okay, I can do that." And so he reversed. Before he turned around, he said, "I have some more questions." And God said, "I'm God. I already know." And he whispered the answers. And then the man reversed his journey, and he walked a day and a week and a month and a year and a day, and came to the cottage, and the woman was again delighted to see him. And she fixed him an even better meal. And he told her that that was the best food I've ever eaten. And she asked him, "Did you see God?" "Yes, I did. And God told me to tell you if you were married, you wouldn't be lonely." "Well, that's a wonderful idea," said the woman. "Would you marry me? Would you be my husband?" And the young man looked at her and said, "Oh, no. I'm far too busy looking for my luck. But then first nice man I see, I'll send him your way." "Thank you," said the woman. And off he went, walking a day and a week and a month and a year and a day. And he came to that tree, and the tree just was shivering with only one leaf left, and said, "Did you ask God?" "Yes, I did," said the tree. Or said the young man. He said, "I asked him why you were the way you were, and he said, somebody put a treasure chest under your roots." And you know, a tree is as big down underneath the ground as it is above, and if somebody takes that treasure chest out, you'll be just as big as any of the trees. Well, there were some workmen here not too long ago. They left their shovel. Could you dig out that chest?" "Oh, no, said the young man. "I'm far too busy looking for my luck. But the first strong man I see, I'll send him back." "Thank you," said the tree. And off the young man went, and he walked a day and a week and a month and a year and a day, and he came to that wolf. And the wolf looked at him and said, "Oh, did you see God?" "Yes, I did," said the young man. "Did you ask him?" "Yes, I did. And God told me the reason you're so small and so frail is you don't have the proper nutrition. If you would eat what you're supposed to eat, you'd be as big and beautiful as any of your brothers and sisters. In fact, God told me to tell you," let me see, he said, "that you were supposed to eat the first stupid animal that came your way." And that's just what the wolf did. It's The Edge of the World from England.